And Laura spoke almost under his nose. "Whoa," Pa said, startled. "Laura, I thought you'd gone. Why are you hiding in the grass like a prairie chicken?" "Pa," Laura said, "why can't I help you make hay? Please let me, Pa. Please?" Pa lifted his hat and ran his fingers through his sweat-damp hair, standing it all on end and letting the wind blow through it. "You're not very big nor strong, little half-pint." "I'm going on 14, Laura said. "I can help, Pa. I know I can." The mowing machine had cost so much that Pa had no money left to pay for help. He could not trade work because there were only a few homesteaders in this new country and they were busy on their own claims. But he needed help to stack the hay. "Well," Pa said, "maybe you can. We'll try it. If you can, by George, we'll get this haying done all by ourselves." Laura could see that the thought was a load off Pa's mind, and she hurried to the shanty to tell Ma. "Why, I guess you can," Ma said doubtfully. She did not like to see women working in the fields. Only foreigners did that. Ma and her girls were Americans, above doing men's work. But Laura's helping with the hay would solve the problem. She decided, "Yes, Laura, you may." Carrie eagerly offered to help. "I'll carry the drinking water out to you. I'm big enough to carry the jug." Carrie was almost 10, but small for her age. "And I'll do your share of the housework besides mine," Mary offered happily. She was proud that she could wash dishes and make beds as well as Laura, though she was blind. The sun and hot wind cured the cut grass so quickly that Pa raked it up next day. He raked it into long windrows. Then he raked the windrows into big haycocks. And early the next morning, while the dawn was still cool and meadowlarks were singing, Laura rode to the field with Pa in the hayrack. There Pa walked beside the wagon and drove the horses between the rows of haycocks. At every haycock he stopped the horses and pitched the hay up into the hayrack. It came tumbling loosely over the high edge, and Laura trampled it down. Up and down and back and forth she trampled the loose hay with all the might of her legs, while the forkfuls kept coming over and falling, and she went on trampling while the wagon jolted on to the next haycock. Then Pa pitched more hay in from the other side. Under her feet the hay climbed higher, trampled down as solid as hay can be. Up and down, fast and hard her legs kept going, the length of the hayrack and back, and across the middle. The sunshine was hotter, and the smell of the hay rose up sweet and strong. Under her feet it bounced, and over the edges of the hayrack it kept coming. All the time she was rising higher on the trampled-down hay. Her head rose above the edges of the rack, and she could have looked at the prairie if she could have stopped trampling. Then the rack was full of hay, and still more came flying up from Pa's pitchfork. Laura was very high up now, and the slippery hay was sloping downward around her. She went on trampling carefully. Her face and her neck were wet with sweat, and sweat trickled down her back. Her sunbonnet hung by its strings, and her braids had come undone. Her long brown hair blew loose in the wind. Then Pa stepped up on the whiffle-trees. He rested one foot on David's broad hip and clambered up onto the load of hay. "You've done a good job, Laura," he said. "You've tramped the hay down so well that we've got a big load on the wagon." Laura rested in the prickly warm hay while Pa drove near to the stable. Then she slid down and sat in the shade of the wagon. Pa pitched down some hay, then climbed down and spread it evenly to make the big round bottom of a stack. He climbed onto the load and pitched more hay, then climbed down and leveled it on the stack and trampled it down. "I could spread it, Pa," Laura said, "so you wouldn't have to keep climbing up and down." Pa pushed back his hat and leaned for a minute on the pitchfork. "Stacking's a job for two, that's a fact," he said. "This way takes too much time. Being willing helps a lot, but you're not very big, little half-pint." She could only get him to say, "Well, we'll see." But when they came back with the next load, he gave her a pitchfork and let her try.